So Carl Jung talks about synchronicity as these meaningful coincidences that occurs. So when I say meaningful coincidences, these are the two words that I'm gonna play emphasis on. So what does synchronicity really mean is series of coincidences that are meaningful to a person. So let's say you see a particular number one day, and then next day you see the same number walking down the street, let's say on a numbered street that you're walking on, or it's a building number that you just see. You uh, don't really get taken aback. Then the third day you went to a coffee shop, uh, then you're paying and you see the same number again. Maybe that's your bill. And then you kind of open a book, and the page that you open, you see the same number. So these occurrences of a similar number, what does that even tell you? So these are synchronicity. Another example of a synchronicity is, for example, you are thinking about a friend, a relative, who, let's say, you haven't spoken to in a while, let's say. The next day, out of the random, you're scrolling through your feed and you saw their post. You don't really take notice. Okay, it happens, right? You are scrolling down the feed and you're bound to come across posts from people who you have in your friend list or whatever. And then the third day, you get a message from them, or someone around you is kind of starts talking about them. And as you can see, how your thought of this person is now translating into real life. So that's a synchronicity. Now, when I talk about this sort of subject, people gets divided because the problem with discourses in today is that either we are scientific or rational minded, or either we are new age mystical. Why can't we be just humans and try to understand the world around us through a lens which is more palatable to us? For me, I love to read about scientific discoveries, how science sees the world. It's a lens to kind of demystify a vastly complex, complicated, and a random universe. And New Age, or let's say religious ways of kind of seeing the world, is more about finding meaning, rather understanding the universe to its laws, but rather finding meaning through faith, through practices. I feel both are beautiful. And occasionally what happens is that rationality doesn't really fit with the irrationality of religion, spirituality. But the point is, the universe doesn't really care about your scientific bend of thinking or your very anti, let's say, scientific bend of religious thinking. It cares about you, your individual, let's say, embodiment, your existence. What does that even mean? So Carl Jung often kind of peers into his practice, into understanding these archetypes of human personalities through these complex, I would say, complex psychoanalysis of his patients, right? Through interpreting their dreams, through their interpreting their subconscious, unconscious, and then we go into realm of where we talk about ego, the collective unconscious, and these are just terms that a lot of psychiatrists and psychoanalysts, rightly so, have been using to kind of understand the deeper realms of the human brain and the human mind. But synchronicity was, at least in my understanding, is one way where I see Carl Jung all kind of merging and kind of trying to understand these Eastern mystical and, let's say, esoteric practices through a Western lens. And that's why he coined this term synchronicity, because for the life of him, he couldn't really understand these meaningful coincidences that has been reported by few of his patients, and I believe he also experienced them in his own life. And synchronicities are reported by every one of us because that's the human condition, and we like to say that these are meaningless coincidences. These are just random events. This is just probability. If you're going to flip a coin 50-50, heads or tails, there are numbers, you're bound to see these numbers. And then the beauty is, a lot of people, because people like to just debate, a lot of rational minded people, without conceding to this possibility of that, I don't know, like why this is happening, why these meaningful coincidences mean maybe Eastern esoteric practices may have something that we are not comprehending. Maybe our mind and brain isn't just something that we need to kind of peer into, but there is a system in place that is beyond mind. But that's that sort of an attitude develops when you have an openness to scientific inquiry as well as a lot of meditative practices. So anyways, back to synchronicity. So as I was saying, a lot of people say that people from their, let's say, humankind, from the beginning of as part of their evolution, have developed this sort of, let's say, treasure hunt, sort of a pattern recognition skill that has been passed into their DNA. So that's why a lot of people are good at pattern recognition subconsciously, and that explains synchronicity. And this is so dismissive of a whole system of thought. I mean, is synchronicity just a pattern recognition mechanism in our brain that has been developed through evolution? Was Carl Jung kind of coining this term, was also kind of trying to make people understand that we as psychiatrists, psychoanalysts, scientific minded people don't really know a lot about the universe, and it should humble us down that sometimes we should concede that not knowing is the way forward, and numbers are human inventions, and the universe responds to you, it talks to you. What is coincidence? Just kind of feel yourself, just talk to yourself. You being in this world, born in a certain country, in a certain demographic, into certain sort of culture, it's not a coincidence. It can't be a coincidence. Is your existence just a number? Is just a coincidence? No. And the universe is full of mystery. That's the beauty of being religious, of kind of understanding the Eastern esoteric wisdom, and also, on the other hand, also learning to love science, to actually invent cool stuff, so that as humans we actually make our life easier. But we can't really have science and, let's say, religion, spirituality kind of butt heads. They are all part of the same fabric of reality at the moment. Synchronicity, call it randomness, meaningful coincidences, or something. Let's say someone up there or the universe is trying to communicate with you, and I'm not the judge of what that communication really is, because I am not interested in telling you the exact specification of synchronicity, because it will differ according to you, your acceptance of your life around you. If you find your life a series of meaningful coincidences, then you will find these communication from the beyond, from, let's say, from your unconscious, from your subconscious, from, let's say, something divine that's communicating with you, kind of guiding you. There is a concept of spirit guides, kind of through numbers, through these coincidences, trying to communicate with you, trying to guide you, trying to warn you. I don't know. But I would say human wisdom is not something that can be quantified into numbers and in numbers. And that's why I love at least Hinduism and Buddhism and a lot of Zen practices, because it don't treat humans as these random occurrences, but rather these divine beings in form of flesh that have to live and adhere to the laws of the land, dimensions, three dimensions, the fourth being time. Einstein talked about it. Fifth being gravity. Earth creates a curvature in the space-time fabric. We all adhere to these laws. But having said that, why can't we humbly say that we don't know where these laws emanated from? Who is God? We have no idea. And that's why I love the term synchronicity, because synchronicity is everywhere. Maybe after this video, when you see a series of meaningful coincidences, we won't brush it off as just random occurrences, but maybe kind of with folded hands, reply to them, listen to what these sort of breadcrumbs or trail is leading you, and be a believer and be a thinker, and with folded hands always love and greet life with this beauty, with the beauty that it has, and always just see life as a mystery, but not rather a nihilistic random occurrence. This will make your life more beautiful. If you're a scientist, seeing universe as a mystery, as a divine play, will make your exploration a little more fun, a little more humble, a little more human, I guess. Thank you so much for watching.